Today on our show, we have an ex-pro basketball player turned real estate millionaire, making a name for himself right here in Las Vegas.
That's right. He moved to Vegas with almost nothing, is making major waves here in town, and putting some major numbers in his pocket. Check this out. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're the Boeckle Brothers. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Landon.
And we flip luxury properties here in Las Vegas. We started our business 5 years ago, and we flipped over 300 properties in that time.
Today on our show, we have a good friend of ours, like we said, a real estate mogul that used to play ex-pro basketball, Sam Coleman.
What's up, everybody? My name is Sam Coleman, team leader of the Sam Coleman Luxury Group, and thank you guys for having me on the show, man. I started my business 5 years ago, but now I'm like looking at your intro, looking at mine, I'm like almost not wanting to tell anybody.
Come on. That's true. We started around the same time.
We started the same time, yeah.
I remember
definitely.
that.
Yeah, for sure, man. But it's been inspirational to see you guys build your business. And while I've been going through the perils of building mine, we cross paths a lot, right, in the same area. And I admire you guys and what you guys have done for sure.
Thank you. We definitely do the same to you.
Dude, we talk about you all the time, and your consistency.
You're a great example.
You're an incredible example in the real estate world. It's funny because we have two completely different industries of business, and we've seen each other grow on both of them. So it's awesome to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So I don't know. We'll start with kind of like where I came from and how I got to being a real estate mogul, so to speak. Right.
So a lot of people that make it big in real estate always have like a life beforehand.
Yep.
So that's always interesting to hear where people came from, maybe things that they picked up that made them so adapt to now their new real estate business.
Gotcha. All right, so I'll get all the cliche stuff out of the way first. So again, my name is Sam Coleman. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. If you've ever seen the show The Wire, it's a very accurate picture of what it's like to live in Baltimore. If you have been to Baltimore and you're like, no, that's not the case, it's probably because you just visited a couple places. So yeah, growing up, it was a very, very challenging place where it's drug infested and crime infested. And in Baltimore, you either sell drugs, drop a mixtape, or you play sports. So I chose to play sports. I found out really quickly that the street life was not for me. I've been shot at, I've been robbed, I've been held at gunpoint. All those things.
Notoriously rough city.
Yes, so
Probably one of the worst in the United States, I'd say.
Probably. I mean, there's others, and I don't want to get into like my city's rougher than yours, but this is just the way that, growing up. But when I basically immersed myself into sports, I started playing basketball at 8 years old. I was never really good at basketball. I played JV for 3 years. So before everybody started saying, oh, he played pro basketball. Well, from 8 years old all the way through high school.
He didn't even make varsity.
I didn't even make varsity. It was terrible. Like my coach, I actually just had my coach here in Vegas like a couple months ago. And he's like, Sam, man, I've been watching you grow, and it's been so awesome to see you grow up. And we just had this offline dialogue where he was like, Sam, I knew I was hard on you. Even my wife was like, yeah, I've heard the stories, right? But his philosophy was, if you can make it through me, you can make it through anything in life. And that was very accurate.
Solid coach.
Yeah, solid coach. I mean, from how did you even pass the physical? You're a waste of height. Why are you here? like on a day-to-day basis, I was constantly being challenged and tormented just for being extremely tall but not being skilled.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, literally, probably I would say, around 18, turning 19 is when I first dunked the ball. Like I graduated high school 6'6", and I could not dunk the basketball. But it was a running joke. Like, Sam, you're big for nothing. At the end of the game, they would put me in the game, 27 seconds left. Everybody, put Sam in the game, put Sam in the game.
Give him some time.
We're up 27 seconds left. Sam gets in the game. I get the ball in the fast break, missed the layup, and everybody just is hysterical.
Get him back out.
Right. So it was one of those things where it was like, I could have let that scenario define me, but it just pushed me, because then when I turned 19, I really got to stick it to everybody because God decided to bless me, and I just started jumping out of nowhere. I was working at a warehouse. It was an Under Armour warehouse, and then I worked another job at Rite Aid's warehouse, which is warehouses in Baltimore. And I just would play open gym randomly, just go play pickup games. And one day I was playing at Coppin State University, and this coach comes up to me. He's like, hey, what school do you go to? And I'm like, well, I'm not in school. I was working at a warehouse. And he's like, well, I want to give you a scholarship. That was Fang Mitchell. Well, when I joined Coppin State, I wasn't eligible. I had a low GPA, so I had to sit out a year and get my GPA right. And once I started playing, it was like, man, this kid can play. Like, I didn't know how to physically play, like be good, but I could run fast and I could jump. That's all I could do. So every time I got an opportunity, I would dunk. And then to fast forward, I went from playing a mediocre mid-major D1 school to this guy training me to become a pro. You know, his wife saw me play a pickup game. Another scenario, just playing at the Carmelo Anthony Center. And his wife was like, you know, I seen you play at the Mello Center, but then I see you play in school, and they just don't align. I think you're not being used the right way. But if you go, you know, you should get with my husband, and he can help you. And Russ, he trained me, got me in the best shape of my life, and introduced me to some other people. And we ended up going uninvited to this pre-combine NBA workout at Portsmouth, Virginia. Uninvited. We hopped in my '97 Lincoln Continental and drove up there. And the janitor let me in because I was tall, and I just started working out and training and shooting in there. And before I knew it, all these NBA coaches and scouts started coming in. When they got in, they just basically said, "Who is this kid, and why is he not playing?" Because I then went on to sit on the side. Well, I then met BJ. BJ was, God rest his soul, he just passed away recently from a biking accident. But he basically said, well, this kid, nobody knows who he is. If John Lucas says he can play, he can play. Sent me to Houston, Texas. I worked out for John Lucas. The following week, I was at the Toyota Center working out with the Houston Rockets.
Wow.
Yeah, so that my journey has always been like, you got to work for it. You got to work for it. I mean, I've never really been invited to anything, right? So I had to work my way to get there. I always went through the back door. So I then tore my ACL my rookie season. Didn't get a chance to play in the NBA, but I got right there to the door. Had a decent career overseas playing.
That's right.
Yeah, playing all over the world.
Right?
Yep. Played in Europe, played in Asia, South America, Central America, played in the Middle East. Definitely Mexico made me a man, because you go play in Mexico, you need to learn how to be physical. Same thing in Europe, like Montenegro in the Balkan League. Yeah, it's very physical. And then 2015, my agent calls me and said, hey, we got a shot with the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to send you to the G League. You're going to go play with the Sun, play in their Suns G League. You play 10 games, average a double-double, and you shoot the lines off the ball, Sam, you're getting a call up. You're going to the Suns. I'm like, great. I'm in the best shape of my life. Let's go do this. I get cut. Now, it's 2015. I've been going at this thing since 2009. And my wife was like, dude, like, something's got to give. Like, you got to do something.
Why'd you get cut, though? Was there...
Politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a kid that came in, and they wanted him over me. He was younger. I was 26 at the time, 27. This kid was 19.
Yeah.
Right? So I was late to the party, and now it just crushed me. It literally crushed me. It was over. So I come back to Vegas, and I'm just distraught. I quit. I call my agent and say, don't call me no more. I'm done. I'm going to get my real estate license. Didn't know what that meant. Randomly helped my wife's grandmother set up for an open house, and she just said, you know, Sam, when I sell this house, I'm gonna get a check for $30,000. I was like,
I want one of those.
Like, how do, like, sign me up? All you're doing is bringing these crusty cookies out that you had at Sunday dinner last week, and I carried this table in for you, and you want to get $30,000? Well, I went in. Well, at that time, I just said basketball wasn't working out. I'm gonna go. So I went and took the real estate exam. I failed that test 4 times. And I said, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. My wife's like, yeah, maybe you should stop taking the test because we're out of money. You know, you haven't had a job in a long time, so maybe you should go get a job. So I went and got a job at Solar City and started driving for Uber. While I was sitting in orientation at Solar City, the Phoenix Suns called me back. Sam, you in shape? Well, not really, but I'm just going to say yes. Yes, I'm in shape. I'm ready. So I called my buddy and said, we need to get to the gym right now. We go to 24 Hour Fitness, start working out. They fly me out to Dallas on that Friday. I played Saturday, and then Monday I was cut again back in Vegas. Mad at the world. Yeah. Now I'm really pissed off.
No more second chance.
There's no more after this. Yeah. After this, my emotional health, my mental health, everything was just off. I became mean, and literally I had, like, what do I do with my life? I just sacrificed all. I went from sucking in basketball, not even making the varsity team, to playing Division I basketball by accident, just by being in the right place at the right time, to playing pro ball being in the right place at the right time, to now it's all just stripped away from me.
Right, it's all gone.
And I can't even pass this stupid test.
Why did you even point your direction towards real estate? Was it that relative that did it? Okay.
Yes. I mean, I didn't have a plan B.
So why Vegas, though? What brought you to Vegas from everywhere else?
So in 2013, I had just played ball in Japan. And when I got back, I was still living in Houston, even after I got cut. And I stayed there. So when I got back from Japan, my buddy was like, let's drive to Vegas.
Just go have fun.
Let's just go have fun.
Okay.
I was just happy to hear people speak English again. So I was like, cool,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
So we drove, we stopped in a bunch of different states and partied and had a great time. I got here, we were staying at Palm's place and back and forth between, he had comps at Aria, at Caesars. We were just living the life. We were having a great time. And we partied, and I ended up downloading Tinder. In 2014, this was before Tinder became before the Tinder started Tindering.
Yeah.
This is early
just
Tinder.
Spark.
Yeah.
Before it was Tinder.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah. So my wife, she was actually the only person that I entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I was like, man, I'm 6'10". I don't need Tinder or eHarmony, nothing like that.
Right.
I can
Just go out.
Yeah, I can go do do my thing. I can manage. Well, I swipe. Is it right or left? I swipe to like my wife.
Right.
Yeah. And we hung out for a little bit, and I called my best friend Shannon in Houston. I was like, bro, I'm gonna marry this girl. He was like, dude, you just came to Vegas to party and you're about to marry this girl. Like, get out of here. Like, you gotta be joking. I'm like, no. Then I called my mom, so you know it's real. I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna marry this girl. I think I met this girl. Moved in with her 4 days later.
Wow.
Yep, I was a part of the He-Man Women's Hater Club at that point in my life. I had a girl in LA who was just like, yep, nope, I'm good. And I'm like, wait, she just said no? Like, she don't want to be in a relationship? All right, cool. Then I had the girl prior to that threw all my stuff off the balcony from our condo, like kicked me out of the house. It was a horrible experience. And then fast forward to this girl who just literally was the polar opposite of everything that I've experienced. I'm like, I'm gonna marry her. She's the one.
Yeah.
I was the most honest with her that I had been with any woman in my entire life. Basically told her, like, dude, I'm here gambling, I'm drinking all the time, I'm miserable because I can't make a team, and I can't get a contract, I'm broke. But this isn't really who I am. I promise you I'm a good guy. Right?
I have ambition.
Right, I have
Interesting,
ambition.
though, because she met you at what I guess you would call a low.
The lowest.
The lowest
Yes.
in your life. And I think that a lot of people would agree that if somebody sticks with you through that,
Yes.
you know they're most likely going to stick with you through all the good
Right,
stuff.
they're the one.
150%.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to run her away, but she was not. Like, she was like, cool. I don't know what in her mind said cool, but
Just too sweet.
just too sweet. But you know, and her story is she was the opposite. She was one of the girls that I was trying to run from, who basically wanted the men who had the stuff. And then I lost all my stuff. I spent it over the last 4 years partying, trying to keep up with that lifestyle. And when I had nothing left, she was like, cool, I'll abandon what I'm used to. I'll abandon what I used to. And we met in the middle. And that was 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story. I mean, a lot of rejection along the way, but a lot of pushing through it at the same time. So good for you, man.
Right. So that's why I feel like real estate is easy. If I can go through all of that.
Are you kidding me?
Right? If I can go through all of that, and then all I gotta do is knock on somebody's door or treat them fairly, and then know what the heck I'm talking about, and I can earn this type of living, where do I sign up?
So you did.
Yep.
You ended up deciding to take a test, what, the fifth time?
The fifth time, the last time, during that time when Uber had first came, it wasn't how it is now. Like, I would go online, and it would be 30, 45 minutes, an hour before I would get a ride, because it wasn't a real thing, right?
Yeah.
So I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, started at the airport, and I was like, this will be the place where I can get the most rides early, right? So I started driving at 4:30 in the morning. I drove all day, scheduled the very last test. I didn't even have the $100 yet. And
you earned it that day.
I earned it that day. Cashed out, did the instant cash out with Uber, went and took the test, and passed it. And by the time my wife got home, I had both those papers sitting on from the state and the national. I passed the test, right? Because the fourth time, I had to borrow the $100 from her. The most humiliating point in my life. I had to borrow
and then failing again.
And then failing, right?
Yeah.
I borrowed it. I had to ask another woman for $100, right?
Yeah.
That failed the test. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So now I did it more so for myself. I had to prove to myself, like, at that time, I got to go do it. And at that time also, my son was maybe 3 or 4 years old. And for the first time, I couldn't pay child support. So he lives in New Jersey with his mom. And I'm like, dude, all I have is ambition and past due child support payments. This has to work. This is it. Like, if this doesn't work, then I gotta go sell drugs. Like, that was the alternative.
Back to where I started.
Yeah, but that's really what it came down to, is my willingness to just keep going and not quit, because that alternative of going back to the city or living that life, it was not for me.
No.
I am not a gangster in any way. All my friends at home know. Sam is cool. He know how to make money. He's impeccable with his word. But pick up a gun and go live in the streets?
No.
Not my thing.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's tall, he's intimidating, but Man, is he soft.
Nicest guy on earth.
Listen, my John Lucas used to call me sweet meat and cottonelle, like gentle giant.
Yeah.
So, we heard about the down and out time period.
Yep.
What about the trajectory? Let's start talking about, the upward trajectory that you've had over the last 5 years, because we've seen it.
Gotcha.
But how'd you get there?
So when I passed my exam, at that time, I had with no experience, no mentor or anything. I joined a brokerage that'll remain nameless. And my very first transaction or opportunity to sell a house came from one of my Uber rides. So a nice lady that I met a couple weeks prior to, literally to the day, getting my license, was like, hey, we're going back to California. We're renting this house from the landlord that lives in California. It's a second home for the investment property. They may want to sell it. I'll definitely keep you in mind. I'm like, cool. Well, she called me back.
Wow.
Right? So my first transaction, $205,000. I think I listed it for $230, ended up selling for $205. And when I got that listing, I ran back to the office like, dude, I got this listing. What do I do?
What the hell do I do?
Right? So I'm a part of the coaching program, and basically it ended up leaving me with a 60-40 split.
Yeah.
So I'm going around knocking on doors, and I'm like, everybody's there building their business. They don't have time to help me.
Right.
So I'm like, why am I giving you 40% of my commission?
Of course.
And I can't even get help. So that day I saw an ad that said, are you tired of not being able to get a hold of your broker? Do you need the support? Like, can't make this up. Calls the dude, click the ad, dude calls me right away. That brokerage, small boutique brokerage. So they call me right away. Hey, what's going on? How long you been in the business? I'm like, 10 minutes. I've been doing this for 10 minutes. I got my license 2 weeks ago and I got a listing. Don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. So at that point, I take the broker at the time, let me take my one transaction and leave.
Move it over.
Right? So I went and got that listing live, got everything done, sold it in 30 days. And
made
that moment
6K.
Made that 6K. That moment changed my life because I wasn't necessarily like, it wasn't a 6K. It was like, now I see the opportunity.
Yeah.
Like in 30 days, I can go for, like, I didn't even have a bank account.
Right.
Like I didn't have a car or nothing. Like I had to sell my car to live. I sold my phone, like, and I had to like literally had no phone. Like I had to sell my phone to make money. So that 6K was like getting me out of the hole. I had collections and everything, right? I owed people money. It was bad. So, but that opportunity was the big picture for me. So then my very next sale was a guy from our church, $279,000, brand new construction home. It was a quick move in. I'm like, cool. Got another one.
Yeah.
And then the third month it was like, wait, no sale. What do I got to do, right?
What am I doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong?
There's always an easy couple first where they just come out of the woodwork, and then it's, oh wait, now
because I did all the things. Yeah, I did all those things. I called my sphere. I was cold calling, doing all the things, and nothing really was coming from it. But then, bam, I get these couple transactions, and then the third month, silence. So, but during that time, I met a couple agents that work for Boeckle Brothers, and I just would go and talk to every single new construction sales agent that there was that would talk to me back. Like, how could you help me? If you had to talk to your 27-year-old self in real estate, what would you say? And I would just take all that information, I would process it, and I would just go do it. If I learned something, I'd just go do it. So they said, hey, start doing open houses.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, where do I do an open house at? Like, how do I do it? Well, I went to my office. Nobody wanted to give me an open house, but I can get signs. So a lender let me borrow some signs. So I had 35 signs. He's like, you got to put out 35 signs. So I learned the hardest way from the beginning.
Sure.
I went and put out 35 of somebody else, not even my own signs.
35 signs for one open house?
35 signs for one open house. 5 days a week.
Wow.
5 days a week.
Most people go and put out like 3 signs.
No, I know. And this is important too because you said something that I think is going to resonate with a lot of people that jump in and get their license is, okay, what do I do now?
Yep.
If I Google how to be a successful real estate agent, call your sphere, network with people, like try to do those things and all those things you were doing, but it wasn't quite clicking. And I think a lot of people, that's why the retention rate for first year agents falls off so steeply is because they dip their toes in those, they get frustrated, and then they quit.
Correct. I didn't have a choice, right? So like my back was against the wall. So my wife at the time, she was she had a big girl job, right? She was making $40,000 a year, so we were living the dream, right? So I didn't have. She was barely. We were paying the bills.
$20 an hour,
right? Right. She was paying. She was taking care of the house. So our rent. I think we had our rent was like $950, and when they raised the rent to like $1,100, we were like, oh my gosh,
what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta go. She was driving a Nissan Altima. She had a car payment. She had insurance and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how to adult yet.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't have a choice. So I put out 35 signs, and they had this quick move-in that was ugly. It was terrible.
So they let you open house the new build?
Yes.
Okay.
So I sat that new build every 4 to 5 days a week for 2 months, and then I sold my first $1 million home, and I got that check for $30,000, $6,000, $30,000. How do I get more of these 30?
Sure.
Yep. So then I just pointed my target towards 30,000. So then I started going to door knock every home around it. So
around your open house.
Around my open house.
Yeah.
And then I started meeting people.
Because everyone in that neighborhood's seen your signs for the last 30 days or however long it was. So they've seen your face now.
Yep. So then I said, I kind of tapped out that area because there was no more new construction. It was all the communities were new. Mm-hmm. So then I went to another zip code. So then I said, all right, I'm just going to door knock every single house, and I'm going to call every agent because I didn't have any listings. So I said, I'm going to call every agent with a home above $700,000. So I just called it till somebody answered. No, go get your own listings. Why are you calling me?
Yeah.
No new agent. Screw off. Go get your own business. Blah, blah, blah.
99 no's.
Yep. One person answered the phone. Mm-hmm. Nice lady, real estate agent. Her personal home she had on the market that her and her husband never moved into. So, okay, cool. You can do an open house. Go have at it. So I went from 4 to 5 days a week to I'm going to sit it every single day. It was vacant.
7 days a week.
So I sat this open house 7 days a week. Well, after 3 weeks, I sold that house, I sold the one across the street, and I sold 2 in the neighborhood community right next door.
Hell yeah.
Bam. Game on, right? So now, instantly, I just changed my life. Just like that in one weekend. This was from one weekend.
Right.
Tens of thousands of dollars. Right
exactly,
there. Yeah.
Right? So, in that moment, I started to realize one important factor. I don't have the reputation, I don't have all the money, I don't have all the skill, but I got time. So I can make up in volume what I lack in experience. Mm-hmm. So if I knew right now what I knew and I worked 7 days a week then, I would do quadruple what I did that year. Right? So I made $116,000 my first year off of 14 transactions. But the amount of leads that I had to burn through and the amount of qualified people that I probably talked to that just let go, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So much business.
So much business.
You didn't have the experience, but that's all right. You learned a lot, though.
And I worked through it through just doing the numbers, doing the numbers. If you just stay consistent, you'll trip and fall in the business, right?
That's a good little nugget right there. I like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I noticed that, and that's something that we were seeing you do at the time when you were starting your business and we were doing ours, and we had agents around us joining our brokerage, and we were constantly reiterating, you have to be consistent with what you're doing. I want to tell you about this guy, Sam Coleman. He's doing these, 90 open houses in 90 days.
Yep.
That's the level of consistency that you're going to have to do if you want to fast track success here.
Yep.
Well, and a lot of these agents, they'll come in the office, they'll hide behind their laptop all day long, feeling busy, acting busy, and I'm constantly trying to push them, hey, whatever you're doing behind your laptop's fine, but go do it for 8 hours at an open house. So when someone walks through that front door, it's another piece of business coming into you while you're still doing your work with whatever you're doing.
For sure.
Because I don't know how much work you're truly doing because, we do a lot of business and I'm not behind my computer all day either. So, it's just a way to utilize time because they don't want to step out of that comfort zone to try something new and dedicate themselves to a mission, which clearly you did, and you reap the rewards from doing that.
Yeah, 30 to 45 minutes on your laptop. As soon as you get in the office, before you start practicing role play, all that other stuff, 30 to 45 minutes, here's what you do. First thing, look at the MLS and see how many homes are active on the market. Now, the purpose of this, what the heck, you have a conversation piece when you're out in the public. If you're sitting behind your laptop, you're not making money. Shaking hands and kissing babies, that's what you need to be doing.
Right.
The more hands you shake, the more money you make. If you're not out talking to people, you're not going to make any money, right? You need people, you need prospects, no people, no money, no money, no honey. It's just that simple.
That little snippet right there is what every new realtor needs to see.
Yes,
and they need to play that every morning.
Exactly.
Every avenue of this business revolves around a numbers game. I don't care what it is.
Yep.
Ours is we submit 200 offers a month, and out of 200 offers a month, we buy 6 to 8 properties. That's a lot of no's for the couple
like
yeses.
3%.
You open house 7 days a week, you're going to get X number of people coming through the homes. You can convert a small percentage of those people. I mean, it's a numbers game through and through. So if you're only talking to one person a day, that's 7 people a week, your conversion rate is going to be very low. You'll be out of business.
It's a contact sport. If you're going to sales, no matter what you're selling, sales is a contact sport. You increase the amount of contacts you have, you increase the amount of opportunities you have to sell something. So for me, in 2019, I just shifted my boat. I hired a coach. I spent $24,000 on hiring a coach. And I just said, at that time, I was making about $200,000 a year. That $25,000 hurt. Like it was like a blow to the gut, right? So, because I was also doing all the other things and living my life and et cetera, et cetera. But it was that 25 has X. I can't even count the amount of X's that is paid for it because I've shifted my mindset to now it's like, all right, I don't want to work 7 days a week. What do I want to design my life around? So I shifted from 95% buyers to 87% listings, and I delegate all my buyers. I may work with, in 2021, I may have sold on the buyer side maybe 4 homes, like maybe.
Right, that's a great client.
That's a good
Very high
segue
level
now to like, okay, you're a new realtor. You're obviously just digging your heels in, hustling, doing whatever it takes. Now to where you're at today. This is fast forward 4 years now, at least a good 4 years now in the business, doing the right things. It sounds like you have a team around you. You've shifted your sources of business. How's that working out for you today? Where are you at today?
Gotcha. So it's phenomenal. First of all, I'm super grateful because I don't deserve any of the stuff that I have. Like literally.
You do. I know. From the story we just heard, you definitely do.
I was a interesting dude. Let's just call it an interesting, I had an interesting perspective. And if God really gave me what I deserve, I wouldn't have any of this. I would belong in the dirt.
People who work hard deserve success.
Yeah, but now, yes. I do work hard. No, the tangible things that I've done has definitely awarded me and afforded me the lifestyle that I have now. But I definitely have that support for sure. Right now, we got 13 agents. We have a business manager, executive admin. Just lost a personal assistant. So if you're looking for a job, we have an assistant position open. We have a social media manager and a director of agent success and 13 agents. My youngest agent is 20, oldest agent, I will not tell you how old that he or she is, but we have a
seasoned. He's seasoned.
Yeah, they are seasoned. We have seasoned agents all the way to youngest of 20, and all very great people, right? It doesn't matter where they come from, they buy into the culture and the mindset of winning and living with an open hand. So we want to give as much information as we possibly can. And it took me 4 years to learn that if I help enough people get what they want, I'll have everything that I want, right? So now I inspire my team, and I'm stepping out of production so I can pour more into my team. So you don't have to work this hard. Like you don't have to, you should be able to do in 2 years what it took me 5 to do, because I'm giving you the blueprint and the direction, right? Now we're able to streamline all the things and the lessons that I've learned and condense them into agent-specific tasks. So I'm great with people in general, right? So if I can get in front of a person, it benefits me. I'm 6'10". It doesn't benefit me to sit on the phone and cold call every day, because that's not my secret sauce, right? If I can get in front of a person, now they can't unmeet me. And then the next thing is personally, I want to be able to spend more time than I already spend with my family and my kids, right? So my daughters are coming of age where they're going to be playing sports like tennis and soccer and stuff like that. I want to be present to be that dad, to be there for them, right? So I have asset acquisition goals. So next year I want to buy 5 homes for myself. That cash flow. So
also we're investing now.
Yes.
Maybe you should talk to these two guys sitting across the street right here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm really good at making money. I can sell anything, right? So it's not about the money, making the money. It's about keeping it and multiplying it, right? So and creating a financial plan, because I never had a financial plan until like 2018 or 2019, right? I didn't have all these systems in place and 401ks and SEP-IRA, all this stuff, right? I didn't know about this stuff. So now that I know about it, and it's kind of like, whew, we're not in hustle bustle trying to figure out how to pay our bills.
Right, you're going to be safe.
Right, we're safe on here on out. And then now we're setting up we got 529s for our girls, for my son, like, everything's set. Now, how do I take this to the next level? And like, how do I set up more generations? How do I multiply it? And then how do I get 100% free? Like, my time is the most important. Right? So
what's your monthly income need to be for you to consider yourself 100% free?
So I like to live a very free life, and I like nice things. So to me, very modestly, I would say about $42,000 a month.
Okay.
$42,000, that's not just a bunch of stuff, right? This is, I'm able to, because my son lives in New Jersey. I want my son to be able to, I don't care what the cost is or what the time is. If my son's like, Dad, I want to come hang out, let's train. I want to be able to go to my son on the drop of a dime and not be held hostage, not by bills, but by my business, right? I don't want to be held hostage by my business. And then other things like automating investing. I want to be so aggressive investing throughout the rest of my 30s that I'm not waiting to be 65 to drive a Rolls Royce. Like that's like I'm not waiting till I'm 65, right? So I want to be super aggressive. Where the 10% that or 20% that the 10% that we give now, it has to be a six-figure number. Like I want to double and triple what I give now because I give a lot, but I want to give even more, right? And then the people that the Sam Colemans out there that are like me, I get chills every time I think about it. When I start my nonprofit, I want to be 100% immersed into helping the Sam Colemans out there, the little people that feel like they've been forgotten. I need resources to do that, right? So I want to live frivolously when it comes to my philanthropic work.
Man, it's big goals.
I'm just hoping you keep us in mind in the near future, and maybe we can engage in some of that philanthropy together.
Yes, man.
We'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah. So a couple of nuggets. Hoops to Homes is going to be a nonprofit.
Okay.
Right. So we got Sam Coleman Luxury Group. Then we have the Lux Academy. This is where all my education and financial literacy and all that. And I'm partnered with my financial planner as well. And we're going to educate the agents that come through our program on how they can take the commission and the access that they have to large commissions and not just make it, keep it, multiply it, invest it, right? And then there's Lux Capital and then Lux Holdings. So.
Okay. He dropped every place you can possibly find him. Right now, if they want to go to find you, I think the best place is Hoops to Homes, right?
No, I actually rebranded.
It's been changed.
I rebranded. Yeah. So Hoops to Homes, we changed it from Hoops to Homes to Sam Coleman Luxury Group.
Okay.
So, on all socials at Sam Coleman, at the Sam Coleman for my personal, and then the Sam Coleman Luxury Group for everything else for all things real estate.
Got it.
So you heard him. If you want to learn from the real estate giant himself, that's where you could find him. If you want to learn the real estate investing side, flipping side from us, check out our new course at theboecklebrothersacademy.com. Coming out January 1st. It's big for us.
We'll put links to everything we mentioned right here below in the description for the video. I know that Sam dropped an insane amount of helpful information and knowledge to investors, agents, and all those alike. If you want any more explanation on anything that he covered, please drop a comment below. I will personally have Sam answer your comment. Promise you that.
So until then, we'll see you on the flip side.